Hello, and welcome back to Create Astral. Last episode, we set up a couple of very useful early game machines here. We've got this one making andesite, and then over here we've got our dried kelp farm. I added another layer on top of this, just so it was able to keep up. I think we might be good now. And then over at our andesite farm, I've set up a little machine that's going to make us andesite alloy. We'll set that up later today. The first thing I want to do today, though, is get a tinker smeltery up and running. This shouldn't be too hard. The grout recipe is changed just a little bit, so now it needs tin nuggets instead of sand. But we have plenty of tin. I think we'll be good. And here we go. There's our grout. Probably the easiest way to get these cooking is to use encased fan and some lava. Let me make a half slab real quick. There we go, and then we can just throw all of these right here and it'll cook it up for us. And then we can make our melter, and then we'll also need a heater to fuel it. And then we can also make a casting table and a casting basin, and then a couple of seared faucets. We aren't going to set this up quite yet. There's a couple other things I want to get done first, but we'll save this for later. I definitely would like to make a tree farm right away. I'm liking using these andesite casings to decorate, but each of these blocks takes a whole block of wood to make, so if we can automate that, that would be huge. To set up a tree farm, though, we are going to need to make some deployers, which take brass, so we are going to have to make a nether trip, because the recipe for brass takes blaze burners, so we're going to have to go get one of those. Oh wow, this is different. Okay, so update. The nether is really bad. It's okay, that was fun. But we made it. I'm gonna grab 10 of these guys. We only need one for the mixer, but we're gonna use a couple more later. Here we go. Hopefully I'm able to make it back the way I came now. I'm not entirely sure I'm a fan of this place, not gonna lie. Now the real question is, how do I make it back through the portal? Yes, okay. Phew, that was rough. With our blaze burner now, we should be able to set up a mixer so that we can mix copper and zinc into brass. Here we go, and if we give them some fuel, this should start going. Oh, it needs to be a little faster. Here we go, I've got it moving now. The only downside is that mixing this actually makes the liquid form of molten brass instead of the ingot. So we are going to have to pump this out so that we can get the ingots out of it. Alright, so I've made up one of these fluid tanks from Create. And with this, we're going to be able to extract the fluid out of this basin here and then have it go into the tank. We'll just have to power this pump with a gear. Here we go, and if we actually right click on this, we'll be able to see the brass come through the pipe. There we go. To actually get the ingots out of this, we're just going to pop down one of these casting tables and then a seared faucet and an ingot cast, and then we can just extract it out of there. Here we go, and I've just put a hopper right below it so that it'll automatically go into this chest. And if we throw a lever next to this faucet, we won't have to right click it every time we want ingots, it'll just do it for us. With our brass now, we're going to be able to make some deployers, and that's going to help power our tree farm. The other thing we're going to need for some deployers is these electron tubes. And they've actually changed the recipe for this so that now it requires rose gold, which is going to be made the same way we make brass, but with copper and gold. So I'm going to have to make up another one of these just to make rose gold. Alright, I set up another one of these mixing machines, and I moved the other one down here too. I'm not actually sure how many of these alloy makers we're going to need, so I made room for them just in case. This one here is going to make us some rose gold. So we'll just throw some copper and gold in fuel this up. Oh, and I forgot to put power on it. Here we go, and we should have some rose gold coming through now. To get our electron tubes, we're going to use our molten rose gold and have it go through a spout onto these polished rose quartz, and then it'll spit some molten rose gold onto them, and then we get our electron tubes. With these now, we're going to be able to make our deployers. And then we're just going to need a couple of other things to get our tree farm set up, so I'm going to go get those real quick. Alright, I think we've got this bad boy all set up. I just need to glue it all together. And then we'll put a bunch of oak saplings into this barrel here and update this, and we should see it start to go. Now these deployers up here are going to plant the oak saplings as it rotates, and then as they grow, these saws will come right behind them and chop them down. And this is being powered underneath by a windmill, just like we did over at the kelp farm. And then off of this, we can just throw a chute down and have a chest coming off of it. I think I might end up voiding all the sticks and saplings that come out of here. We're just going to throw those right into lava. We really only need the wood here. The next thing I want to do, now that we've got our tree farm all set up, is set up this machine so that we can get andesite alloys. All we're going to need to do for that is set up a belt going from here all the way up to this basin. And then we'll put an andesite funnel off of this chest, and that will spit out our andesite from this farm. And then from this chest, we're going to have zinc nuggets coming out. And we'll just throw another andesite funnel on this. And then we'll put one on either side of this basin here so that they can go in. And that's pretty much it. All we have to do is power it. Okay, and with this all powered now, all that's left is to throw some tin nuggets in here. And then we'll need a mixer on top of this basin. And if we power this, we should see it start to make andesite alloy. And then this basin will just spit it out right into the chute here, which will go into this chest for us. The next thing I'd like to do is use our tree farm to set up a machine that makes these andesite casings for us, which we'll be able to do now that we have andesite alloy pretty easily. Alright, I've got pretty much everything we're going to need here to set this up. We're going to place a saw, make sure it's facing the right way. And then we'll have a belt coming out of that, and this is going to go onto a depot where we'll have our deployer. And then off of that, we're going to have one more belt, and this will be where we have our chest. And then I'm also going to put another belt here at the beginning, and then this will be where we have our input chest. Alright, and with this all powered now, all we should have to do is throw some oak logs into these chests. And then these are going to come out, and they're going to go through this saw and get stripped. Oh, we got it facing the wrong way. Okay, that should be fixed now. And then we're going to have this deployer. This is going to put andesite alloy onto these. And then hopefully it should just go straight onto this belt, I'm hoping. No, we may need another andesite funnel here. Okay, I think I fixed it. I actually ended up having to use a brass funnel with a filter on it, just because these stripped logs were spitting out even with the andesite funnel on it. But that's pretty much it. We now have andesite casings a lot easier than having to right click those logs one by one. And we can actually do the same thing to make brass casings. All we would have to do is change these andesite alloys out for brass alloy. And we're actually going to need those coming up pretty soon to make these precision mechanisms, which we're going to use for a lot of the future create stuff. There is one last thing I'd like to do today, and that is definitely going to be to get one of these Tinker's anvils. To do that, we are going to need about 3 full blocks of brass, which is probably the easiest alloy for us to get right now. So we're going to cook those up and see if we got enough here. Alright, it took a few tries, but I finally got enough brass, and now we should be able to make our Tinker's anvil. There we are. The first thing I want to do with this is definitely put luck on our pickaxe here, and that's basically just fortune for Tinkers, and that's going to help us when we're mining. And we can go ahead and put the second luck upgrade on that too, since we have enough for it. I can't do the 3rd level just yet. It takes a whole block of diamond, but hopefully with the luck we do have, we'll be able to pick up some more diamonds while we're mining. With all this brass we have now, we're actually able to make brass armor, which is going to be better than our iron armor. All we have to do is just turn these ingots into sheets real quick. And there we are. There's our full set. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.